is too. Let's begin to walk towards the University of Chicago, and even though graduation doesn't begin for you for 3 hours, we can get you settled early, said Peter. Good idea, I said. We then walked over the Dan Line Expressway, aka I-90/I-94, and there were still police cars I could see heading toward downtown, but no helicopters. Again, Marcus is at the hospital because his mother fell, so I know he is safe. Have you noticed a lot of police cars going toward downtown today? Peter asked. I have, I answered. David then took out his phone. Nothing on my phone, said David. It's okay, it really is not important, said Peter. Let's just head to the auditorium for me to get my law license, I said. We then continued walking east down Garfield Boulevard to head towards the University of Chicago. Before the ceremony happens, I just want to tell you how proud we are, said Peter. Me too, added David. I never thought that you would want to be a lawyer, but here you are, said Peter. Does it upset you that I want to be a lawyer, I asked. No, I was just expecting you to be a small business manager, answered David. Like us, said Peter. It just wasn't my cup of tea, I said. Are you still going to wait tables for us at our bar? Peter asked. We will see, I answered. Okay, said Peter. Now, you two realize that if you need a prosecuting lawyer for anything, it can be me, because I am your daughter, and the law says that as your daughter, I cannot do anything for you, so I cannot be your lawyer, I reminded. Yes, said Peter. Yes, said David. Good, I said. So in the end, what did you think of college and law school? Peter asked. It was fun, I answered. What was fun about it? David asked. I got to learn about what I wanted to, I answered. That, of course, but what else? David asked. I feel like I have done justice to the bad part of me, I said. The bad part? David asked. The fact I am a result of a rape? I answered. Oh, David said. What was your favorite memory during this whole time? Peter asked. Does it have to involve the University of Chicago? I asked. No, Peter answered. Going to New York City with Marcus. How did I know you were going to answer that? Peter asked rhetorically. Because you're smart, I answered. Not as smart as you, said Peter. Why do you say that? I asked. Because I spent 4 years in college on no scholarship and threw my degree away when I founded Ouroboros, said Peter. Me too, said David. So my point is that you graduated as valedictorian at the Northside High School, the University of Chicago for your bachelor's degree, and the University of Chicago for your law license, and got full scholarship every time, said Peter. Thank you, guys, I said. I then kissed both my dads on the forehead. We then wandered onto the University of Chicago's campus, but we weren't quite at the auditorium yet, and we still had about a 20-minute walk to get there. Doesn't Marcus's dad teach here? David asked. He teaches a class in comic book art on Wednesday nights here, I answered. Do you know what building he teaches in? David asked. Nope, but I know that the building to our left is where Marcus had his class when he went here for a month over the summer on a program for kids with autism, I answered. I recall your man here sometimes, Peter said. That's why he became Dr. Marcacius, I said. Around his family, Peter added. Well, first was everyone, but then he just reduced it to his family and the people who live in Robbins-Og. I see, said Peter. He then, I'll tell you something ironic as long as you promise never to repeat it, I said. What is it? Peter asked. Dr. Marcacius is why he met me, I answered. What do you mean? David asked. His persona of Dr. Marcacius is how he met me, I said. How? David asked. What I mean is that he got into a fight with his mother while she was in the hospital, and he jumped out the window and used his cane to land on his feet, and he broke the cane and tattered his cloak. So he went to me in the costume shop and got them both fixed. and that is where we met. And then I saw him crying next door in the Chinese restaurant, and that is where our relationship began, I answered. What was he crying about? David asked. I don't want to say, I said. Okay, this time it's fine, said David. What have you done? What have you done about that job? Peter asked. I informed them that I am quitting because I got the job as a lawyer and I don't need them anymore, I answered. I'm glad you saved that money while you were still even on scholarship, said Peter. Me too, I said. Our purpose in life was for this moment to come, said David. Mine too, said Peter. I know, I said. I was then kissed again by both my parents. If you become famous, make sure you let the world know that you were raised by gay men, said Peter. Why? I asked. Because then maybe LGBTs would be more accepted, David answered for Peter. I'll make sure I bring that up. Who knows, maybe you'll be a politician one day, said Peter. We then all laughed. Peter and David, I love you, I said. I love you too, said Peter. I also love you two too, said David. Let's just get down to business for now to get what I want, I said. What is that? David asked. Getting my law license, I answered. Good point, said Peter. I know, I said. We then saw the auditorium and entered. When we entered, I went to a check-in desk as my dads went to the auditorium. Last name Gregory, first name Hannah, I said when I got to the check-in desk. The lady at the desk took a look and found my name. See, J7, and here was your cap and gown, said the lady working the desk. Thanks, I said. You are welcome, said the lady working the desk. The lady at the desk then moved to the side of me. Next, the lady shouted. I then went to the restroom, put my cap and gown on under my yellow cloak. I felt pretty hot underneath my cap, the gown, cloak, and yellow dress I have on underneath. I then took my seat in the auditorium, and then the law school president came onto the podium. I may have graduated valedictorian, but I don't have a speech to give. After a 5-minute long speech, it was time for licenses to be given, and 5 minutes after that, it was my turn to go up. Hannah Gregory, said the law school president. I then walked up to the stage. Here you go, said the law school president, giving me my license. Thank you, I said quickly. You are welcome, said the law school president. I then went back to my seat. When I got back, I took a look at the license and my eyes glistened. 4 years in an orphanage in New York City, followed by a year off, 13 years of academic school, 4 years of college, followed by 3 years of law school, has led me to becoming a lawyer. And remember, class of 2018, always follow the law of the land, said the president of the law school. Then graduation was over and we were dismissed. I then went outside and met my parents just outside the auditorium.